We went through motherfucking the unbelievable.
This beat is so
Hey, hit the block and sell drugs. That's exactly how I was. Take the Sprite and take the codeine, then I pull me up a cup. Get a mile and drink on mud and smoke some buddies. How I was. Last night we made a movie. I'ma tell you how I was. How I was. Nigga, how I was. How I was. Bitch, how I was. How I was. Nigga, how I was. How I was. I'ma tell you how I was.
March 6, 2025. It's a nice evening at about 5:55 p.m. Starting this one out pretty bright as we are waiting on Operation Lifesaver leading Amtrak 40 with 50th anniversary number 46 trailing. What an epic catch that we're waiting on. Duo heritage units on Amtrak 40. This is the Loftman Post Office in Florida as we drove down here just to see him as we arrived to a clear green with less than a 5-minute wait. There will be 2 point of views of this. One point of view is where I mostly catch the Operation Lifesaver on video. The second POV is where I mostly catch the 50th anniversary on video. Do you hear that? I think I hear a horn of Amtrak 203, the Operation Lifesaver, and Amtrak number 46 trailing with the 50th anniversary original logo on it. The train route is Amtrak 40. I bring to you the first POV of where I saw this train. This is Loftman, Florida. Pretty damn cool, huh? Here comes the second POV. Oh, wow. What a colorful train. Let's see what the defect detector picked up.
CSX detector, milepost 819.8. No defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 4. Detector out.
Pretty cool. Here's some photos that I took while I was going by. It is very rare to see a heritage duo on one train, considering the train only has 2 engines and that's its limit for about 10 cars, 9 cars. Them both being heritages is critical. Just look at the locomotives and the train go by with diamond shining colors that I feel like only the eyes of a rail fanner can see, that most other people can't see. I take it as a gift from God that we have these special eyes to see the amazing differences in colors of these different trains, and to see that they are forms of entertainment to only a couple of people, specifically from God. After 11 years of rail fanning, I still can't answer the question on why they're so special to me. Nor do I feel like many people can. That's what makes me feel like it's not a coincidence, but rather something bigger made it so that we can have other forms of entertainment other than TV and our phones. Moving on from that moment, I obviously have the Heritage Units app and I'm signed in, so I submitted a report of both of these locomotives as soon as it went by. The specific location is milepost 819.4, Loftman, Florida. spotted by your boy, KBD. Let's move on to the bigger side of this rail fanning trip, meaning more than one train. Welcome to March 16th, 2025. Yes, we're starting in at halfway through the month, as that was the only train we've seen. But today, that's going to change. We're going to see 9 trains. This is a Sunday. This was a month after the biggest train day that I've had so far. Well, I'll put the link in the description for that video. It's been a month, and I'm about to get close to that record again by having 9 trains and missing one train by 5 minutes, which obviously was dreadful at the end. But let's look at the positive side right now. It's 11 a.m. at Auburndale, and we have a very, very windy morning at about 45-mile-an-hour winds and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Yes, so windy that my tripod knocked over a couple times. And it's pretty sturdy. It's like a professional tripod, and it has 3 legs. It's a nice sunny morning, but sadly later on in the day that's going to change. Let's look at the train we have coming. It's 11:45 p.m. and we are looking at Pt.1 on the north side of Auburndale, Florida. We heard him on the scanner, and I immediately started recording, and soon you'll see the headlights go up on the north side of Auburndale. That's in about 20 seconds, but I want to say something within those 20 seconds. When he said Lake Alfred, I was curious on what we were going to see today, heritage unit-wise or special unit-wise. So I look in the Heritage Units app just to get a quick glimpse of what we're going to see today, if we are going to see anything. Most likely we aren't, but I looked on the Heritage Unit app and that all changed, and it's going to change in a couple of seconds here. Amtrak 41 has my favorite Heritage Unit leading, and I don't know if y'all know, I don't know if I mentioned what my favorite Heritage Unit from Amtrak is, but I do feel like I've mentioned my favorite CSX Heritage, and let me just say, they both represent the same thing. My favorite CSX Heritage represents the same thing as the Amtrak Heritage, as it's very, very popular. Once we start seeing the color of the nose, I'll just let it out, but I'm going to give you an A, B, C, or D choice. What do you think is going to lead this train today? It's not normal. What do you think is going to lead it? And the correct answer is C, the Operation Lifesaver. Again, this time the second engine is normal. It's number 132, but you can see by the yellow nose now the answer. That's why I said it now. The Operation Lifesaver is back, and it's been a week or two, and it's leading 41 again. Now, this one is way better than Loftman in the last 2 times I've seen him, because this is Auburndale, my hometown for rail fanning, my favorite spot. Yeah, better than Plant City. My favorite spot to see trains. It's coming to my hometown for the first time. It's been here before, but I've never recorded it here, so this is a huge achievement. This is a good start to March of 2025. Let's sit down and watch them. And now you know something new. The CSX Operation Lifesaver and the Amtrak Operation Lifesaver are my favorite of all time Heritage Units. It's good to see him back, especially in Auburndale, where he's shining his bright paint scheme again and flashing his lights, blowing his horn, raising train awareness. Let's get to Amtrak 98 that is right behind him. I swear God is here in Auburndale today, because Amtrak 98 is also special in 2 different ways. Well, first, the head of the engine is giving it away. Should I say giving one away? Since you can't see the second one, it should be a secret. Multiple choice time, A or B. For this one, lock your answer in, because the correct answer will be displayed on the train. The correct answer was A. What a start off to the day. Hey, that rhymes. Bars! I'm just fucking around, but let's get to the next one. Also, special thanks to Zachary Mathis for letting me join him on today. We are at Ariana Avenue. We have Amtrak P.1 16 coming back. Today pissed me off day and night because of the weather. I mean, just listen to the wind. Sounds like we're in a hurricane. I don't know why the wind speeds are higher than a hurricane right now, but let's just get to the next train. The wind speeds are still high like Wiz Khalifa, but whatever. Let's get to the train. PL 9716 coming from Kissimmee on the way to Auburndale Connection. Two special things on that train. One, the second engine was a Phase 7 P42, number 138. We've seen him before, twice. Second, there was a coach class at the back, just like the olden times. It brings me back to 2013 when the coaches used to be at the back. Kind of wishing they went back to that order, but whatever. Of course the wind speeds calm down when the train's gone. Let's move on to Lakeland. It's 5 p.m. Here's where the weather really pisses me off, because wind is just sound. However, rain blocks your entire camera view. It is raining right now, and it's going to be raining until about 7:30. Just like Ryan Reynolds would say, rock, meet, bottom. Amtrak 40 left the Lakeland station as we're crossing this crossing, and he's going to be here in 5 minutes if that's the case. So we set up at a street at a crossing that I couldn't get the name of, but we're just here. In comes Amtrak PL 4016. Note down that we didn't use tripods for this one. That's because we were here less than a minute before the train got here, so we had absolutely no time for tripods. but that also means we have to get right back in the car. Amtrak is over, and any train from here is freight, which is the good stuff. We are very, very, very close to missing a mixed train that is close to here. M453 has done being strapped down early, and he's going to hit a crossing that we're trying to drive to before he gets there. So we're praying that we make it because he's a very valuable train. Next turn is to the crossing, and we think we're early, but actually we are right on time, if not a little late, because down there, if you look closely enough, crossings are going down. So we step on it and just about make it.
Onward to your trail.
That was M453-16 leaving Lakeland, being done tied down way earlier than we thought. We thought he was going to be tied down for a couple of hours waiting for a new crew, but apparently if he left already, one was already there. That was a huge close call. We are now in Peachtree Street or People's Lane waiting for what seems to be nothing for a minute or so until we hear an uncomfortably close horn. When I realized when I looked through the Plant City rail cam, IL-44 crossed Plant City 10 minutes ago, so he's right here. If you look closely at the trees, it is raining right now, so I'm under the open trunk of the car, thinking this is shelter, which is working pretty good, but I realize the entire car is in my way, so I can only get so much of the train. That's until I make a very risky move and step out of the comfort zone to get a perfect view of the train. I made a risky move. Let's see how it worked out. probably the shortest intermodal I've ever seen in my life. Like, you could still see the engine going away, but whatever. At least it worked. At least no rain got on my camera, because the whole time I had my hand above the camera so no rain could get on it. Smart thinking, and it worked. That's the last train for a couple of hours, though. It's 8:45 p.m., and L765 waited for a tornado warning to be over, and then proceeded through Lakeland and got it clear. We are recording at the overhead bridge. L765 was expected to be a very long local train, kind of like L793 previously, but he was short today. I'm just so unlucky. He had a very loud engine today and an ES44 DC duo. The very loud engine, I say, is because I could hear him humming from here. Right now. His lights are getting brighter and brighter, and soon you'll see the entire thing come over the hill. Right now. I was doubting the bridge view at first because I thought some of the bridge was going to get in the way, or even the railing, but he told me it was actually a really good view and you could see everything. But I was like, okay, you have more experience in Lakeland than I do. I mean, you come out more than I do, even though I've been doing this longer, but still. So I gave it a try, and it actually turned out pretty good. ES44 DC duo, they violate the no horn zone. W drivers, fuck the Karens. Alright, let's see him. He's getting pretty close. Just for disclaimer, he has 50 cars on him today. This is L76516 in Lakeland, Florida. Lakeland Overpass Bridge, or whatever the fuck this is. It's a bridge, okay? I surely expected him to be longer, since L765 is usually a mile-long train, when that is not a mile long. Kinda disappointing that's my first L765, but it don't matter. We're gonna get another train soon that's way longer. Possibly our longest train for today, I don't know. Also, where this gets pretty sad, we see one train here, but it's not the one that has a green for. There's another green on the other side for I-178 that we're going to see at People's Lane, but I-045 is going to come right after him. But we are in such a hurry that we had to leave when I saw the lights come around the corner. I did see I-145's lights come around the corner, but my parents were in such a hurry, they did not care. And this is the story I was mentioning in the top 10 worst scenarios for rail fans. This was number 1. Also the second video in the description. But this is spring break, so we will also see tons of weekday trains that will totally make up for it. Here comes I-178, the first time viewing him in People's Lane. The horn on I-178 today was a K5HL. Rather, we hear a K3HL over far down 10th Street. We hear a second horn, but sadly, I-178 is going to conclude our train for today of March 16th. Now, why? My parents were in a rush. But we couldn't see it. This is such a roller coaster. Spring break. Spring break is also where the KBD tour of 2025 is going to take place. We are going on the Sunrail from Point Siena to Winter Park this time. Not that big of a tour, but it's still going to take hold for 2025. We are taking P31618 to Winter Park and then taking P32318 back. I would also like to announce having the pleasure of riding Sunrail number 105 with a new P5 horn. Don't worry, when it departs Winter Park, I will get a good video of it. Damn it! My Indian jeans! I get a good video of it. At 10:43 a.m., we finally board P31618. We departed Point Siena at 10:45 a.m.
She could be sitting there. What if you and Vanessa were sitting there leaning up going...
That's why we were running.
It is a 50-minute trip, and we just left Point Siena to Winter Park. At this point in the trip, we are now approaching the Kissimmee Sunrail and Amtrak station. I completely was oblivious that Amtrak was near us, but a few seconds later that changed.
We should go. They have a big park. They have events. Not December.
Well, that's what it is. Lake Tahoe.
Oh, that's it. Sorry. Tahoe Public. Yeah. I said Tahoe. It's Tahoe.
While they're talking about whether it's Tahoe and Toho, I was trying to get their attention, but Amtrak 41 was right next to us the whole time. And if you looked closely, number 154, a Phase 7 unit, was trailing. Let's just rewind on that real quick. Boom, there it is, Phase 7. That's my third Phase 7 unit I've ever seen. There's the horn blowing. We are now leaving the third station.
Would you grow up still drinking with wine? Or is it the wine or is it the combination? Because my mom, she won't
Departing Meadow Woods.
send me money if this is recording any pictures. It's not going to back up. So somebody puts it out. Oh, she said that? Okay, so. Are you having this your top? Your top. Oh, no.
Useful billboard upcoming to those in need.
Four lines. So yeah, like for the
Here's where I have to stop and point out something in this trip. A very, very rare engine comes around the corner where CSX only has about 7 of. They usually come in the geometry trains. Here it comes. Is that a fucking SD23T4? In the middle of Orlando?
Hell no, man.
Weird ass state, man. Seriously, that's an only in Florida moment. Like, where else in the goddamn world will you ever find an SD23T4 sitting uselessly in the middle of a rail yard that was barely supposed to have any action in it, bro?
Hell no, man.
Oh, and I see him again, by the way. Also, let's acknowledge that Burlington Northern Hopper, by the way, rusty as fuck. Like, seriously, give that a cleaning. But anyways, let's move on to the next spotting, which was pretty much nothing, but we get off, and I decided to record P31618 depart Winter Park. Also, this is the very good video I was talking about in the beginning of the tour, where I was going to catch the new P5 horn that's on this guy. We have approximately an hour and a half to do whatever the fuck we want. And what we do is just watch more trains, bro.
Hell no, man.
Nah, I'm just playing. But I'm talking about, like, get lunch, walk around, explore Winter Park, do things you can't do at home. Every guy watching, tell me what you see when you see this. Obviously, you were going to say it looks like a straw coming out of a cup, right? Fucking pervert. All jokes aside, we have an orange signal on the left and a green signal on the right. Who's the green signal for? It's not Sunrail, rather it's Amtrak number 9718. Let me just say it was the most embarrassing thing to be the only person in Winter Park running around with a tripod catching trains. Seriously, I was running around, people were looking at me, I felt like an idiot. But, you know what? I bring content to you guys. I embarrass myself to bring you guys content. Hit that like button. That's all I ask in return. I'll continue to embarrass myself to get you guys content for trains if you guys hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, do it. Because if you like train content, here is the home spot for you. It is now 12:40 p.m. and Amtrak Pt.1 9718 is entering the Winter Park station. I was surprised at how quick it stopped after how fast it was entering the station, but here it sits here for about 5 minutes and leaves at about 12:46 p.m. Again, me being the only one running like a dumbass to get you guys a better camera view. Hit that damn like button. From here is where we're going to see Amtrak 9718 leave. It is 12:46 p.m. and Amtrak Pt.1 9718 is departing the Winter Park station. Let me just take a second to point out how fast that thing took off. Seriously, you have time. Go back and rewind and look how fast it went from A to B. From when it was departing, how fast it was going, to all the way up to that signal up there. Shit, even when the engines were passing me, it was still going way faster than I expected. Also, good time to point out the excellent old school bell that's on at 181. Love it. They should make more of them. It's 1:03 p.m. and the Sunrail P.32118 is now arriving at the Winter Park station.
Always beware of a second train coming. Obey all warning signals at pedestrian crossings and cross only at designated areas.
Estén siempre pendientes de un segundo tren que pueda llegar. Obedezcan todas las señales de advertencia en los cruces de peatones y crucen solamente en las áreas designadas.
Always beware of a second train coming. Obey all warning signals at pedestrian crossings and cross only at designated areas.
Estén siempre pendientes
At 1:06 p.m., P32118 is departing the Winter Park Station. Quick fact, to tell whether they're southbound or northbound, the southbounds always have the cars facing first, and the northbounds always have the engine facing first. The northbound right after him is extremely close. Literally, I stopped recording, and 30 seconds later, the crossings are going off for the northbound. In comes P32218, the northbound, at 1:06 p.m. I had to run to the very top of the station to catch him leave. P32218 departing the Winter Park Station at 1:08 p.m. I also pointed out somewhere in this trip that the 107 that was leading this northbound was the southbound that was crossing us while we were on the Sunrail. The next Sunrail that we're going to see is P32318. That's the southbound that goes all the way back to Point Siena at 2:06. Quick disclaimer, P32318 and P32418 meet each other at the exact same time. You know what? There's nothing to do. Let's just skip all of this and just go right to that.
Estén siempre pendientes de un segundo tren que pueda llegar. Obedezcan todas las señales de advertencia en los cruces de peatones. Crucen solamente en las áreas designadas. Always beware of sudden train coming. Obey all warning
I'm too lazy to stop it, so if you didn't see it, that's your problem. Just rewind it. Here we are boarding P32318, the southbound back to Point Siena. Etc., etc. We find our seats, yada, yada, yada. We find our seats, and it seems the northbound is leaving first right next to us. By the slight movement, it looks like we're departing the Winter Park, Florida station at 2:08 p.m. Riding P32318, the southbound back to Point Siena. Since we're coming up at 2:11 p.m., Amtrak 98 is running a bit behind, so here he is. I switched sides because I realized all the rail yard work and stuff is all on this side where the SD23T4 is, the GP40-2 and -3. Upcoming switcher engines that I like to point out. Here's the part y'all have been waiting for rail yard work. See the engineer right here? That gave me an idea and a premise that there's a lash up at the front of these cars. But who exactly? Just wait and find out. It's closer than you think.
It was just doing work.
It was the GP40-3 and the SD23T4 doing rail yard work. What a catch, man. We are back at Kissimmee. Point Siena is closer than you think. Welcome back to Point Siena, Florida, the south end of the homeland of Sunrail. That's going to be the end of KBD Tour of 2025. Technically, this is a part of Trains of the Month, so I put it in this category. But this Trains of the Month is going to go in the playlist of KBD Tours and Trains of the Month. Next trip we have, I believe, is Lakeland. Just Lakeland on a Wednesday night.
Hell no, man.
Nah, I'm just joking. That's a good trip. I think there actually might be more trains on a weeknight. I'm not even for sure if we're going to Lakeland for our next trip on Wednesday. But let's cut to what we have next. And it is Lakeland. We are going out to People's Lane or Peachtree Street to see what we can find in 1 hour. We're doing 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. just for fun. Whew, we made it, and it doesn't look like we missed anything, but oh, what's that? We have Y220 backing into People's Lane just as we got here, right beside him.
This is Y220.
This is Y220. That was Y220 backing into Lakeland Connection to do some yard work. The other person over there with the tripod is a friend of mine that I made here. I'll put his name in the description. At the Beast of Rails. Go subscribe. Fortunately, the traffic isn't down for too long. We got L743 at the north side of Lakeland going into Lakeland Connection very, very soon. And this right now, Y220 backing into the bridge of Lakeland Connection, this is 4:45 p.m. and we hear the horn of L743 about 5 minutes after, it feels like. Incoming L74319, the southbound local train to Winston Yard that's supposed to come at about midnight, but is coming very early for some unknown reason. L743 has a red signal, so that means he's going to stop here, and I knew that while I was behind the camera, but I didn't know for how long and why. It took me a minute to find out why, and I knew in the back of my mind. It's because Y220 is doing maintenance and work over there, at the south side of Lakeland Connection. For how long, I never knew, until Jacksonville had to decide when to give him that clear signal. And let me just say, it took longer than 5 minutes. We were sitting there for a bit. But he still came, and I highly appreciate this guy's horn. It's pretty beautiful. Let me just give you one tip if you ever come to Railfan here. Patience. It pays off. Around now is when L743 has come to a complete stop, is because he has a red signal, and obviously he cannot move with a red signal, so he has to wait for at least a careful approach signal or just a green, and it takes a minute, but he eventually gets moving. But we didn't know how long we were supposed to be here, and that also kind of scared me in a way. But luckily, I was just overthinking, and L743 is close to getting on his way. It is 5:12 p.m. and L74319 is getting ready to head back on his way, clearing Lakeland Connection with the green signal. This month is so busy with trains again, I literally have to make a part 2. I can't go any longer. So stick around to part 2.
Ice water turn Atlantic, night calling in a phantom. Told them, hold it, don't you panic. Took an island, felt the mansion. Drop the roof, more expansion. Drive a coupe, you can stand it. No bitches undercover. I'm an ass and titty lover. Guess we all meant for each other. Now that all the dogs